Hello, lovelies. This is 5-Minute Manifesting, and I'm your host, Lovey Brown. Thank you so much for listening. I am thrilled that you are here. So today I want to talk to you about two different types of inner conversations. So as we know, inner conversations are a way to bring into your consciousness what you're manifesting through having a conversation with someone after your desire is already completed. Right? So if you're manifesting a specific person, the conversation that you're having can either be with your specific person or it can be with someone else. Now, what I want to talk to you about today is how to choose which person to have the conversation with. Because sometimes having the inner conversation with your specific person doesn't help as much as having the conversation with someone else about your specific person. And I'm going to tell you why. It has to do with how you're feeling. So if you have a lot of hurt or a lot of anger or, your specific person did something that you're still trying to forgive or let go of, and you definitely should because you're creating a new relationship with your specific person, then they may not be the right person to have the conversation with. You may want to pick someone else who you really trust and you feel close to, and someone you know that you would share the news with when you get back together with your specific person or when you get with your specific person. It could be me. You could imagine having an inner conversation with me, telling me, Lovey, my specific person and I are engaged, or whatever your end result is, whatever you're manifesting, your end result with your specific person is. Now, and this has to do, I'm using specific person, like in a romantic sense as the example here, but it can be in any situation. It could be with a job or a loan that you're trying to get at the bank, or another way that you're manifesting money. So, maybe you don't want to have the inner conversation with the hiring manager at the job that you're trying to get. Although you could have it with a hiring manager, or you could be telling your best friend that, hey, I got the job. And you hear back in the inner conversation, congratulations. And then you take some sort of other action, that sort of grounds you in the inner conversation. Like maybe your best friend gives you a high five, or maybe you, like if you're standing like in the imaginal scene, depending on how you've created the scene, maybe you're sitting at a table and maybe you like just pat the table or something. Some way to ground your other senses in the scene. Now, if you do want to have the conversation with the hiring manager, that's okay. And the way you decide is how you feel. Like if you go into your imagination, and remember, this is all happening in your imagination, so you can test out both inner conversations and decide which one you want to choose as the one you loop over and over again to touch base with what you're manifesting. So you go into your imagination and you call up, say, either your specific person, if it's a specific person manifestation, the hiring manager, if it's a job manifestation, the loan officer, if you're trying to get a loan, or, whatever scenario you have, the person at the car lot who's giving you a car because you want it, whatever you're manifesting, right? So you call that up in your imagination and you have an inner conversation and you notice how you're feeling. Are there thoughts of like, this is not going to happen? Are you starting an argument with your specific person? When really you're trying to have an inner conversation about being back together? Just notice what feelings are coming up. And if you aren't having good feelings or like a totally immersive, positive experience, that's okay. You can still get your manifestation. You can still create an inner conversation that feels good and not have to have an inner conversation with a person that makes you nervous or whatever. You just need to pick a different person to have an inner conversation with and then have a conversation that's about the topic that you're manifesting. So I hope that this makes sense. You're choosing an inner conversation that feels really good to you. So now pull up in your imagination your best friend in the whole world who loves you totally and trusts you totally. Now make sure that you really do feel good about your best friend. Now, because, sometimes we have friends that, it's always up and down, or there's, some low-level drama, or there's some low-level tension in that relationship always. And it's okay to have those types of relationships. I'm sure we all have them in our lives. But that's not the friend you want to pick. You want to pick someone who, in your imagination, you feel totally that you trust, totally, supports your manifestation. You also don't want to pick a friend who maybe doesn't want you to get back together with someone that's an ex, maybe, or someone who, doesn't want you to leave your current job. They want you to stay at your current job and they don't want you to leave. So you want to make sure that you pick somebody that you feel wants you to get your manifestation. And so it can, like I said, it can even be me, or it could be someone else. It could be a made up person that you don't even know that you're telling this to. But the qualities you give the made up person are that they totally, completely support you, and they see you and support you in this conversation you're having about your manifestation being here in the present moment of the conversation. Because that's another thing. You want to ground your inner conversation in the present moment. Your manifestation is here now. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that you are doing well out there in the world, and may you manifest exactly what you want.